really close to land. We've got 65 miles, and I thought I'd invite you to our land ho party. We're not actually going to see land on this day, but we are still going to party like we've seen land, because we should arrive there in the wee hours of the morning. And we're feeling great about that, aren't we?
Very excited.
She's more than excited. It's been 26 days, 25 days, so it'll be 26 tomorrow. And yeah, we're very keen to see dry land. Welcome to the inaugural Finding Avalon Pacific Crossing Award Ceremony.
Patrons, we made it.
Hello!
We are here in the Marquesan Islands. We're here in Hiva-Oa, and we just made a 25-day passage across the Pacific Ocean.
That's a lot of days.
That was a lot of days.
That's the longest I've ever been at sea.
Yeah, it was about 3,100 miles in total by the end, and we did it basically bang on 26 days.
Bang on.
25, 26. But guys, we missed you, so we wanted to touch base with you, just give you the highlights of how the crossing went, let you know on some exciting stuff coming up, and yeah, just give you the inside scoop on how the crossing was before the episodes come out, and yeah, give you a little introduction to the South Pacific.
So there were good bits, there were bad bits, and there were really pretty ugly bits. So we thought we would deliver a summary of the crossing to you in that context. And I think we'll start with bad and ugly so that you can end on a light note.
Alright, we'll start with bad.
Unlike the Atlantic crossing, so if you remember on the Atlantic crossing, one thing broke, and it was a little kicker on our spinnaker coal. We had many things break on this crossing, didn't we, Captain?
No, look, it wasn't that bad. It was just lots of little things that
broke very dramatically.
Oh, I think you're being, sorry. This is not for the camera. I think you're being dramatic about this.
It was always dramatic. Okay, alright, I'll give my take on it.
Firstly, we didn't actually have any major breakages, but we just had your general wear and tear on a boat, which we thought we avoided on the Atlantic very well, but we definitely felt on the Pacific.
Yeah.
The worst was the main halyard chafed through. It was already after a pretty tough day of little things breaking on the boat, but it broke right on sunset. And
I had been on watch for 5 hours, so I was really tired. I hadn't had that much sleep for a couple of days because we were dealing with something at the time, and it was coming to the end of my watch, literally 10 minutes, and I went downstairs to see if Jackson was okay, and then just heard this boom, and
I was just like a woo,
and Alexa, you just heard Alexa go, "Oh my God!" And I knew at that point that my watch was not over for a while, and we were racing the sun to fix that thing as well.
But yeah, luckily we had a spare halyard. We could use the boom kicker, which was already threaded through the mast, so we put the main halyard through that, and yeah, in the end it wasn't that painful.
Yeah.
My famous preventer system, which I was really proud of making in Panama, I was let down by crappy equipment.
Oh, blame the tools, blame the tools.
Well, what else broke?
It was crappy equipment.
Yeah,
very cheap stuff in Panama.
So I could only find some pretty poor quality blocks or pulleys, as some people call them, and they kind of had stainless steel edges on them. And what happened was I had one on each side because I had a preventer on each side, so when we jibed, no one had to go up on deck and change preventers. And what happened was, if we did accidentally Chinese jibe and the preventer came under load, the sidewalls of the block actually bent and jammed the rope. And when we then went to ease the rope, it was getting jammed in the metal and would break. So we actually broke our preventer 3 times.
Wasn't it 4? I thought it was 4.
Well,
it was a lot of time. It was more times than we needed anyway. That's the preventer.
That was
then
the preventer.
The fan belt on the engine broke, and he wasn't able to fix it, so actually the girls had to fix it, which was really fun. I loved being a mechanic for the day.
Yeah,
that was
which
a little one.
is going to lead into one of the uglies as to why I couldn't fix it. We're a bit unlucky, like the sliders on the mainsail that go up the track.
Oh god.
The top 2 of those broke.
And they fill in from the bottom, so we had to take the whole sail off to refit the sliders in. That was a nightmare.
And then we just had some general wear and tear on the jib where some of the UV strip just started ripping off.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the boat, Avalon did amazing.
She did. She's so dirty.
Our wind indicator broke on day 2.
Oh yeah, the wind. So we never knew how windy it was.
So we're always guessing. So it was really good in getting to know the boat and the wind and being like, oh, I think it's a bit windy, let's reef.
Well, wind guru over here, he always knows really how windy it is, so we never really were too much in the dark with that. But we had to get really sensitive as to when we thought we had to reef.
The only other bads were we had a few small injuries like burns and...
I trod on the gaff.
Oh yeah,
that hurt.
on the gaff.
I impaled my foot on the gaff.
That was pretty bad. And our fridge did its famous crossing ritual where it just wouldn't turn off all crossings. So again, it was a little bit bad in terms of us trying to manage power.
I've just remembered another bad.
Yeah.
With glasses of water and mugs of tea are banned on crossings. I decided to disregard that one day, and I really wanted just a glass of water. That didn't go very well at all. I took it into bed with me and it spilled, and not only did it spill on the bed, but the whole thing spilled on the battery monitor, which was $500.
So you didn't actually tell me that it spilled.
Oh, I didn't actually. It was my little secret. It was my little secret because I knew you'd be so disappointed in me.
We're talking about the $500 battery monitor that tells you exactly what the batteries are doing. The one thing we needed to manage the fridge and all the electronics on board.
I did play dumb, and I think I told Jackson that there was a glass of water there, and I
can't believe you told me
I didn't have anything to do with it, and I didn't know what it was doing there, and then I found the battery monitor dangling in it. But that's not true.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
So I found the battery monitor full of water and turned it off. Luckily for Xanthi, the jar of rice worked a treat.
A treat, yeah.
Anyway,
so that's good.
That's it for the bad.
Let's go on to the uglies. That's the juicy stuff.
Oh yeah.
So day 6 of the crossing. Day 6, we got a buddy boat called SVGia. They're a lovely bunch of Kiwis who you've met before. They were actually on our Panama episode. We interviewed them for you. And they were about 100 miles behind us.
Day 3, they ripped their mainsail.
Oh, that's true.
Luff to leech. Spent the whole day with all 5 crew hands stitching it back together.
I forgot about that. That was very ugly.
So they were a little bit behind us from that.
Yeah.
Plus we were just absolutely ripping.
We were rip sticking, as the captain says.
As I would say. And
so then that very day, as a joke, I'd put a cocktail glass symbol and put a waypoint to it and changed our route to go to the cocktail glass. I was like, get me off this boat to the beach bar. That's just my little joke, and Jackson found it and didn't actually find it that funny. And then, so that got left on the...
And that was their position, by the way.
No, I just put a put a random waypoint on the chart plotter. Then I wake up for my watch, 3 a.m, the boat has turned around. We are headed to Mexico, and we are headed to a waypoint, and it's the symbol is a cocktail glass. And I'm like, oh, good God, this is not happening. Alexa's seen the waypoint, and she's headed to the waypoint of the cocktail glass because she thinks that's where we're going. And I run up the stairs, and I'm like, Alexa, we're going to Mexico. And it turns out we were intentionally headed to Mexico. Our friends were in trouble, really bad trouble actually.
So while Xanth was asleep, we got our daily email from Gia, and they were detailing that they'd actually had a bit of a bad day because they'd broken a port shroud and their rigging was looking really precarious. So luckily we had some really useful supplies on Avalon, and we embarked on the Gia rescue mission, which meant we had to backtrack 100 miles, and yeah, we embarked on the rescue mission. So look forward to that episode where we detail everything that happened with that.
And I had to be captain because Jackson left the boat. I had to be captain for like half a day, and it was terrifying.
Isn't that part of the rescue?
That's ugly, but I had to be captain for half a day. We took a homemade fishing lure competition a little bit too seriously, and we made a couple of lures with all the bells and whistles, and
it's got some nice reflective tails here.
And one bell or one whistle accidentally maimed Jackson. And yeah, it was really bad. Like, we were terrified. It was a really deep cut. There was blood everywhere.
Yeah, we were in a pretty precarious situation, and it made for a really tough 12 days. 12 days? Yeah, it made for a really tough 12 days with a really poorly injured leg, confusingly.
So Alexa and I were pretty much double-handed sailing the boat for the first 3 days, and it was really tiring. And we did luckily have Alexa's brother on the sat phone, who's a doctor, and he advised us to give him an antibiotic called doxycycline, which one of the side effects is that you're highly photosensitive, so it meant he had to be out in the sun. So we had to change our watches around. Jackson got the sunrise watch every day, which was nice, but we had fixed watches it was very clever. We engineered so that he didn't need to be in the sun, between the sharp hours of the sun, so that was good. And we worked through it in the end, but we were tired, as you can imagine. So that leads us to the goods. He's okay.
I'm all right now. As I said, we made it here, and the first thing we did was make it to the medical centre, and they opened up the wound.
Amazing doctor for free.
Yeah, free medical here, which is really nice.
Yeah.
If we had the opportunity at the time of the injury, we would have had a lot of stitches, internal and external, but given that it had been now 12 days and we did a pretty good job of pulling it together and
she was impressed
and stitching it up, that luckily I didn't have to have any other little surgeries and get it restitched, and it looks like it's healing relatively well.
And he'll be swimming in 2 weeks' time. And the other good part of that story, Reed and Deb will be very happy about this.
I caught the biggest fish of my life. I caught a wahoo.
A bucket list fish. Yeah. I wanted to catch a wahoo for this whole trip.
In retrospect, it's maybe not the biggest wahoo ever caught, but it was about 140 centimetres and weighed about 40 kilos. It was ginormous, and it was a scary fish, and took us about half an hour to reel in. But we did it, and we're still eating it 12 days later.
It's delicious.
But yeah, didn't come without a price.
Yeah. And then the other good news is that our friends on Gia were fine. It was actually really quite lucky that one boat that was 100 miles in front of them had...
Being us,
and we had the exact, what's the brand?
Seldom
piece of rigging that they needed, so...
Yeah, so we were able to help them out,
yeah.
And I spent the better part of a day with them, helping fix their rig and putting some extra support ropes in, and yeah. So anyway, we got them on their way. But if you do notice on our track that we come down and then we backtrack and keep going, That's why.
A lot of you messaged us about that, so thanks for your concern. The good thing was that the sailing was spectacular.
It was awesome sailing.
Yeah.
I think the first probably 1,500 miles was 14 to 18 knots on a broad reach.
Yeah.
We, besides having to make one jibe to go back to Gia, or two, and then we didn't actually adjust the sails for the better part of 10 or 11 days. We reefed once or twice, but we just sailed on a port reach for, and we were making good miles. We were making over 150 miles a day, which is really good for Avalon. It was really pleasant,
And
really
compared
nice
with the
weather.
Atlantic, like worlds apart. The Atlantic was just downwind the whole way, huge waves, and to be honest, downwind sailing can be stressful, like when you're goose winged, because it's so sensitive, like the likelihood of jibing or something going wrong is quite probable. So it was really nice to be on a broad reach most of the way. Yeah.
When we were 23 days out, we had a really favourable forecast and we were making good miles, and we thought we were going to make it here just before sundown on the 31st, but as fate would have it, the breeze actually died and we weren't making the miles we needed. So the last day we slowed down a little bit to make sure we arrived in the morning, and my God, it was amazing turning up to this island on sunrise, like, because we didn't get to see, we couldn't call out land ho because we're in the middle there in the middle of the night.
So we just cracked open a bottle of champagne when we knew that land would be yonder.
It was land close.
Land close.
And we arrived on sunrise to the most amazing island.
So beautiful. So that's another good that we
made it into the anchorage.
Oh.
It's so far been quite a nice, comfortable anchorage.
Yeah, everyone said horrible things about it, but it's gorgeous.
And got off the boat as quickly as possible.
Pizza!
And we went straight into town. We bought some baguettes and some cheese and a little bit of fruit and some chocolate, and went straight out for some pizza and a few celebratory beers.
Yeah.
And then we went to the hospital.
Yes, in that order.
In that order. So yeah, guys, look, we just wanted to give you a little update of how the crossing went. We really hope you enjoy the episodes that'll be coming up soon about those. And we've decided to do it in a bit more of an interesting way, which we hope you enjoy. So, in terms of the crossing, that's it. We're done. We're here.
Yeah.
We've made it. We're really excited to start exploring French Polynesia and the Marquesan Islands.
Yeah.
So, a really exciting bit of news is, as you guys know, we've been wanting to get some patrons on board. And we did. We had a goal of getting 200 patrons to make that happen, because we thought that that's what we needed to help support this journey. But you guys have just been amazing and completely blown us away with your generosity and with your support. And we want to make sure we deliver that back to you. So in 4 weeks' time, we're pulling the trigger and we're going to invite some patrons on board. So stay tuned for that. We wanted to let you guys know first. And we want this to be the first of many. And we also made some promises about some merch and other bits and pieces, and that
Sorry
is coming.
that's taken so long, but it's coming.
Yeah.
So embarrassed.
Yeah. We actually had our samples getting delivered to Galapagos and it didn't happen. So anyway. Funny that. So anyway, look out for that. That is coming very shortly. A little bit of merch. And when we find some good internet, we'll also be keeping up with the live Q&As.
Yeah, that's something we're going to do really soon, actually.
And really, we want to keep the dialogue going between us.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's it from us. We've got some more pizza to eat, I think.
We've got some more pizza to eat.
That's what we're doing today. That's us today. I hope you're having a good day too.
See you guys.
So desperate for the toilet.